The Republican National Committee is suing the State Department over communications between former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and top aides. One lawsuit seeks emails, BlackBerry Messenger, or text messages between Clinton and people like former Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills and Jake Sullivan. Another is asking for electronic messages between nearly a dozen department officials and a number of Clinton associates. The State Department confirmed texts and messenger chats can now be considered official communications, but stopped short of confirming that was so at the time. The Clinton campaign called the suits frivolous. During last night's Univision debate in Miami, the former Secretary of State was asked point blank about the seriousness of ongoing investigations.
The questions were, who gave you permission to operate? Was it President Obama?
There was no permission to be asked. It had been done by my predecessors. It was permitted. I didn't have to ask anyone.
If you get indicted, would you drop out?
Oh, for goodness, that is not going to happen. I'm not even answering that question.
Well handled, don't you think, Joe?
Oh, I think so. I don't think any candidate would answer that question. I think anybody suggesting that she was being evasive or aloof, I mean, that was a smart thing to do politically. Don't even go there. Mike Barnicle, obviously, though, there are some real challenges right there. And right now, the biggest question is the State Department playing it straight? Is the Justice Department playing it straight? I don't think there's any question. This federal judge, this Clinton appointee, is tough. He's playing it straight. He's demanding compliance, and he's really getting on the parties when he thinks they're dragging their feet for political reasons. Same thing with the FBI. Nobody questions whether James Comey's going to play this straight. He's just, everybody from Rudy Giuliani down say he's a straight shooter. What about the State Department? Are they playing it straight? What about the Justice Department? Can we count on Loretta Lynch to play it straight and not make the political decision, but make the legal decision on how far to take this?
Well, I would think, Joe, that both the State Department and the Justice Department certainly are playing it straight, but clearly the federal judge is highly impatient with the State Department's pace of releasing all of the emails that have thus far been released. The interesting point to me about last night, in addition to her not answering that question, and you're right, nobody would answer a question like that, is she was hit point blank on Benghazi, I believe, by one of the moderators asking if she lied to the families of those lost in Benghazi. I thought she handled that very effectively.
She was. I think she's been able to, and some of this stuff is pile-on, Steve Ratner. And Elise, I should ask you to, when you see these lawsuits looking for text message, I mean, is it fair to call it frivolous? I do.
I don't think so, just because it needs to be resolved, and that's the problem with this whole process, that it is dragging on for so long. And part of it, I worked at the State Department, and I attribute it to government bureaucracy incompetence, taking so long. You know, people at the State Department who've written books, and they've tried to get the books reviewed by the State Department, and it goes on for years and years, and they publish their book, and the State Department's surprised. It's just these review processes and the release of information and approvals, it can just take way too long. What I do think, though, it's the huge problem for Clinton going into a general up against Donald Trump. Donald Trump has huge unfavorables, but they're unfavorables if he actually ran a decent campaign and if he actually started showing some discipline that could go away. The brashness, the inappropriateness, the crudeness, that can be overcome if he wanted to, if he showed some discipline. There's the potential there. With Hillary Clinton, overcoming this scandal is very difficult because the impression is she's a liar and she's got something to hide and she's untrustworthy. And I think that's a tougher battle.